strong.
Box of shame, where I keep my past mistakes. Got boards, high zeros that I killed. I had the robot in here so my cat doesn't chew on it when I'm not looking. Yeah, there's an ESP1 I broke. Another Pi Zero I broke. Another chip I broke. I was trying to solder the tiny reset pin thing at one point. I destroyed a couple. It's so tiny. I forgot this thing exists because it's hidden.
I do forget how much electronics are on this thing. It's pretty nice. I just can't call it done until it's able to do what I was envisioning, which is to roam around the apartment and map it and make sure that it doesn't run into anything or break itself by detecting that it got stuck. The servos do not have feedback, so I can't tell if they're like pulling more current than usual. So all I have to go on is really the IMU and then the sensors. So I think as part of the move forward gait, I'll put a distance check to make sure it's not walking towards something. And then turning, you could put one there too, but this thing is a quad and it has a certain geometry or leg layout, and it's not like a hexa where it's symmetrical. You can just go in either direction easily. That's why I've not written the turn left or reverse gait yet, because I have to like flip the legs around and try to stay in the same spot, and it doesn't really work because you have to shift the weight around to make sure that the center of gravity is balanced on the triangle. That's not the free leg. So one of these would be, this one is what would move, or this one, I think. I don't know. Forgot. Alright, let me think about what I'm gonna do. It's been a while since I worked on this thing.
This is an inclusive 12-inch square. Edges of the tape. That's the 12-inch body, left turn. And this is a house rat. A rodent.
So, I've shown this before in another video, but this is the difference between the sensors. The purple one has a huge 25-degree field of view, while this TF Mini, it's only 2 or 3 degrees, so it's very tiny. So the problem is the scanning pattern right now, like, tilts up, goes here, goes across, down, it's middle, across, down one, across, down one, across, and then it goes back up to middle. And due to these overlaps, you don't have to scan that many. The problem is the time it takes to scan. The LiDAR has a like 20 to 30 millisecond sampling delay. When you add those up, it's like a tangible delay. You're sitting there waiting, and Not to mention it's draining the servos. So I have to combine the sensors where they sample like intermittently, but this one is for distance and this one is for proximity. So like this one's like long range planning, this one is short. So if there's something short, it might only be able to move 2 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches forward. But if this thing says it's clear and this is clear, then it'll move like 12 or 16 or something. And then as it moves forward, you'll check this middle beam, which you'll have to see what that means as far as the sample. I'll have to do some modeling as I plan the code. If we look at the code, separated by communication and then the actual robot, like a noob at C++ software structuring. I mean, I'm from the web side, so there's like MVC, or if you're doing domain, maybe you have like folders of stuff, but here I just got everything in one folder. Main pulls everything. The problem is this loop, single threaded, and Arduino supposedly there's something in the works for multi-threading. Or there's ways to fake it. This processor is powerful. Like, base speed is 600 megahertz. 600 million times. Like, you can loop this thing. Or something like that, but I think that's what that means. So it's like you could fake multi-threading by, using that insane speed and dividing it. But it's hard to think like that and program like that. With multi-threading, like Python, you can constantly monitor like the IMU and maybe the sensors, and you can just during execution fire a ping to get that value, which you can do that here. In some of the movement code, like I can turn a thing on or call functions inside. When you turn a value like this on during the motions, the actual code that coordinates all the servo movements has checks for those variables, and it'll stop moving or it'll read the IMU or something. It's just nasty. Like, normally motion code only deals with motion. You don't like inject something in there. But yeah, I don't know. So yeah, and you can see there was like a basic navigation thing I threw together, but right now the robot gets too close to things and it still runs into walls. It's not good. And on the web side, I don't have like the UI I envisioned. Let me see. I have like data transmission, things like that. But and then the IMU tracking is like an estimation. Problem is the robot, it doesn't move like in a smooth motion. It's not like it has wheels. So when it rocks back and forth, like it adds and subtracts values, and then the errors add up, so it's not very accurate. I have to work on that more. Let's see, we get, I don't know what this is doing. I think this one primarily has the, this has the messaging interface and mesh plotting. Not very useful. Oh, there's like a line underneath. Interesting. But I've got all the like random pieces, you know, I can detect if the robot's upside down, measure distance, depth map roughly. So yeah, I just gotta put it all together, come up with a process, and also make a better like navigation thing, because this thing was trash. I just put it together and it's really bad. Oh, this is the scan code that's fixed. It's like the Z. Yeah, so that's what I'll be working on today. So I've been doing some more modeling and measuring. I even put the actual sensors on here now versus the old one. So again, you can see the size difference of the beams. Some key things to consider. This is the rotation joint from the side. So this leg goes up, that leg goes down. The robot tilts downwards, like to the right, clockwise. But theoretically this area here is the middle still. And if you look at the sensors from the side, they are not in line with that plane. So you have to factor that in for the offsets. Similarly, from the top view, center of the robot, sensor plate, the purple one, time of flight, 3 inches. And when you turn left, these are not mirrored. I measured them and it's off by a couple degrees. You can see that the beams do not overlap, and this field of view means the minimum cross-section size of an object to hit for it to register that there's something there. So this square is 12 inches, and from the front of the robot there's a minimum should be 3 inches, something like that. That's like the closest it can be to something while being able to turn. So you have to factor that into the minimum distances. I have to do some sectioning because the robot moves 2 inches forward for every step or complete gait cycle, and the time of flight is good like above 12 inches, so I'm doing like 16-inch range. This one's a foot, so to factor all that, and then the field of view cone overlaps to reduce the sampling time. So I'll probably do a couple of large measurements here, or time of flight, and in between I'll use these. I'm still not sure, but I can't measure every single degree because it takes too long. It's like, I don't know, I don't remember how long it takes, but it's very long. Because assume it moves 50, 40, 50, 60 degrees times 30 milliseconds. And it has to do that like 5 times. Yeah, it's a long time. Still working on it, but I'm getting there. So here I'm trying to model the pitching. Take one of these, stick it on the emitter, and then I have pitch values measured externally, video camera. Ones I'm interested in are the down angles, negative 8.4. So what I'm gonna do is take this reference point, I just want to make sure I don't lose it. There. What I should do is select. There. Make this a group. It is unfortunate I got so used to SketchUp. I have to switch to Fusion at some point. I wouldn't mind SketchUp if it performed well. Even on a gaming rig, this thing sucks. Apparently there's like multi-core problem or something. I don't know. So the rotation point is here, which is based on the joints of the robot. Those are fixed, but the legs swing up and down, and so the robot has to pivot about that point. Although it's not entirely accurate because, you know, the thing will shift forward or backwards, and that's like an arc. I don't know. That's, yeah. There's so many sources of error on this project. But all I care about is this. So, what was that value? Negative 8.4. So the point of this is, oh, excuse me, that's my freaking throat. Figuring out like what's useful. Which scans can I omit when I'm pointing at the ground? What I should do. I'll just do them in sequence here, one at a time. I could copy it and add the angles. See, I did it before. Look at that, April. Yeah, this is the point of it, but yeah, okay, I'll do that. So 5 scans definitely has good coverage. That's pretty good. It's not a lot of stops, and the cross sections overlap, so that's good. I still have to work out the distances I want to measure or evaluate based on which sensor it is, how far away something is, and like the tilts. When it's pointing at the ground, it's like, you know, it's either normal or it's not. And you can ignore stuff, which makes it faster. So I mentioned before how the cross section is like the minimum area that gets detected. So if you hide one of these, I do this, wait. How do I show this? What I'm concerned about is when you're closer, the circle is smaller. So does that mean it's not as good closer to the body? Problem is, like, I don't want to have a, like, there's like a wire or a rod or something that it just, the edge of an open box or something, it just completely misses it. And it runs into it, and then the IMU would have to catch it and say something's wrong. It's not covering the expected distance, translating. Here, this is the fastest way to cross section this. It's probably like an actual tool, but let me see. Measure from here. How far away? I've got like 5 inches is a minimum if it wants to move 2 inches forward. Oh my god, you see that crap? What just happened? Great. Here, this is 5, right? 5. Up. That's the lag I'm talking about. Down. I got a freaking 3080 Ti too, like what the hell? Then you intersect. Selection. You cut off from here. Oh crap, you gotta explode them, huh? Hold on. Why? After a while, that lag is hard. It's hard to get through. This is written in Ruby. Isn't that crazy? I don't do much graphics stuff, but it's cool. Use Ruby for web. Rails. So there are the cross sections 5 inches away. This is what I'm concerned about. That area. If you had like an object right here, would it miss it? The other thing though, bring the robot. Oh god, what is that? That's pretty neat. I don't know why this isn't an object or a group. Comes up. Oh, yeah, put it here. That gives it some perspective on scale. I guess I'll just have to try it. I don't know. I'm not sure if there's something this small it misses it. Otherwise I'll have to scan it again. I don't know, but I like 5. 5 looks like good coverage.